Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of Sessions. It is the sunset in beautiful South Florida, and today we are gonna continue debunking some myths and talking about some facts. So let's see what we got today, you guys. So the average times per month that a couple should be having intercourse is 4 to 6 times a month. Do we think this is a myth, or do we think this is a true fact? So this is a fact, guys. Sorry for those of you out there who think it should be way more, but age plays a role, right? If you're into your 20s, 2 to 3 times per week. If you're in your 30s, 40s, maybe 1 to 2 times. 50s, once, maybe like a month or every other week. So you guys, let's think a little bit about how we define sex, because often we narrow the definition of sex only by thinking about it as intercourse. What about mutual masturbation? Both of you are wearing blindfolds and you're masturbating in the presence of each other without touching one another. What about sensual play? So really expand your definition of sex. Don't only think about it when it comes to intercourse. The other thing that I want you to think about is that most women, it's not that they don't want sex, it's that maybe they don't want the sex that's being offered. So it's not about wanting, it's not about frequency, but it's about quality. Remember that women's desire is very different than men's desire. So when we think about desire differences, women like the anticipation, the invitation, the plot, and sex doesn't like to be measured or directed or counted. Sometimes I talk to my couples and they're like, Paola, do you want me to tell you last time that we had sex? And then they pull up their phone and they're like, it was on this date at this time. Guys, you know, that just creates a lot of frustration in the relationship and it's not good. So stay away from how many times and frequency. If you're connecting once or maybe twice a week, you know, and it's a fun experience and it is playful, then you're good. Also, don't get into the myth that sex needs to be spontaneous, effortless, and natural. We plan everything else, guys. So be intentional. 80% of encounters, sexual encounters, are planned or semi-planned, but don't think about the word plan. That one gives me the heebie-jeebies. Let's think about intentional. Let's see what else we got. All women can have an orgasm through penetration. All women can have an orgasm through penetration. I can talk about this all day. Is this a myth or is this a fact? Myth, guys. Myth, myth, myth. I know a lot of people know this, but a lot of people still don't. So it is my personal, goal to tell everybody that this is a myth. Even though orgasms through penetration can happen, it isn't the norm. Guys, I'm going to bring in Lola. So Lola is my vulva, well, the vulva that I use for these talks, and I have full consent to use her. Okay, guys, so we know that the clitoris is located right here where the little flower is, correct? And the clitoris, remember, it is only placed there because its only function is for pleasure. It has 8,000 nerve fibers, almost double than the penis, right? So clitoral stimulation is the go-to. I always tell my guys, go on a clitoral expedition. Because remember, you guys, that clitoris are all very different sensitivities. And so women that can have an orgasm through penetration, because even though the clitoris is average in size, 3 to 3.25 inches, it has 2 long legs that we don't see. So at the movement of the pelvic muscle, right, when the long legs are moving with it, voila. But 75% of women don't have the long legs. It's just how we are made. It's anatomy. And so only 1 in 4 women can have an orgasm through penetration. So this is really important for you guys to know. And talk about your pleasure parts. Talk about what feels good. And remember that, orgasms can happen. And sometimes even clitoral orgasms can feel a little bit different from penetrative orgasms. And satisfaction can happen in a lot shapes, forms, and colors. Guys, thank you for listening and joining me. Don't forget to subscribe to Sessions. It's so good to see all of you. And bienvenidos. Y buenas, casi noches.